Imagine this hive right here gives me 8 kgs per harvest, and I harvest 3 times in a year. I have 30 hives in this small space. A kilo of honey goes for 800 Kenya shillings. So 8 kgs times 3 times 30. Do the math and tell me whether we're in business or not.
Keep it farming with AIM Agriculture.
Hi guys, you can see we are really fully covered by the bees. We came to see it and we're trying to harvest. We just want to take you through the most expensive honey processing and how it's extracted. Actually, it's medicinal. Guys, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, kindly hit the subscribe button, like and share. Remember to click the notification bell. Each time we share a new video, you can see. Thanks Daniel, my very good friend, who's been speaking for quite some time, for hosting us, and he'll be a success story as he's the CEO of
Platinum Agribusiness Solutions.
Tell them again.
Platinum Agribusiness Solutions.
A young guy and doing it great. Cheers. Again, he'll be an expert. The guy has not trained to do with bees, but he has trained himself. He is so perfect and he's the master of the business. Cheers.
Make sure to subscribe and watch out for more. So, here at Platinum Agribusiness Farm, we value add our honey by adding something spicy, something a little bit extra, more nutritious, more healthy for you. Here we have a locally made device. It's a bee venom collector, which you use in our hives, in our apiary, to be able to get bee venom from our hives that we can add into our honey. And how do we do that? This particular device right here runs electricity, a small current, just enough to trigger the bees to allow them to start stinging into the glass that is right here. They will sting the glass, but their stinger will not leave their body. So the venom itself will be collected onto the glass. After that, what we do is we come and we scrape off. When it dries out, we come and we scrape off the venom. It's a little bit. From a hive we can get maybe about 10 milligrams from a single hive. So after scraping it off, it dries well, then we add on to our honey. Bee venom is very, very nutritious. It's highly sought out after and very expensive. And that is how we make the most expensive honey. Recently, bee venom has been studied and found out that it can help patients suffering from breast cancer. It doesn't cure immediately, but it provides a better alternative to prescription medicines made from laboratories. It is more natural. It is it's an immune booster. So now it's time to harvest our honey. The first thing you need during harvesting is to have a reliable smoker with you. The best smoker is one with a heat shield. It allows you to be able to place your hands in a way that they are not going to be burnt when your smoker is hot. The second item you may need is a hive tool. You need to have a hive tool such as this. This is called a J-hook. It allows you to be able to enter your frames and pull back the lid easily. It also allows you to separate the super box from the brood box during inspection so that you're able to assess how is your colony doing. So now we are going to light our smoker and show you the best way to do it. What you need in your smoker is sawdust. It makes for great burning fuel. Also, it does not harm the bees in any way so far, and it allows you to be able to dispense enough smoke to last you during the entire harvest, or rather during the entire inspection. Make sure you have a lighter with you. You may need some paper to help light. Remember, when you're harvesting, it's best to make sure that you light your smoker before entering your apiary, so that you're able to smoke as you're coming, and it also allows you to be able to light it much easily. For example, right now I have bees all over me, and it's going to make it a little bit difficult for me to light it efficiently, but we're going to do our best. Just pump the bellow slowly. Make sure your smoker has enough smoke and enough fuel in it to be able to last you for the entire inspection or the harvest. When you approach your beehive, start by smoking the entrance. This alerts the bees that there is someone who is about to enter their hive, and so the smoke reduces the pheromones that they are going to pass around, and they are going to retreat back into the hive to protect their queen. The next thing I do is I start by smoking around the entrance, the lid. You blow a few puffs, not too much. You don't need to destroy your honey. You don't need it smelling a little bit smoky. So just a few puffs, give or take, give it about 3 to 5 minutes. But for this demonstration, we are just going to open it right away. So, when the bees build the hive, when the bees colonize your hive, the first thing they will do is to seal off any entrances that they don't need. And they are going to use what we call propolis. It's something that we also harvest from a beehive that you can value add, and is one of the most nutritious and medicinal components from a bee. The propolis is what the bees are going to use to seal up their lid. And as you can see, this black stuff on top is the propolis. Now take your smoker and blow a few puffs, close it up, so when you open your hive, you need to be able to see honeybees on top, or rather the worker bees on top. This way it's one of the ways that you're able to tell that you have a strong colony within your apiary. You need to be able to count at least 5 to 7 frames. If it's a 10 frame beehive, you need to be able to count between 5 to 7 frames full of bees. During inspection, make sure you start by pulling out from the edge of from the last frame closest to the edge. This allows you enough space to check all the other hives, to check all the other frames, pardon. And don't forget your smoker. It helps clear the bees, so that you're able to work freely without killing a lot of them. Now as you can see, this particular frame doesn't have any honeycomb built into it. So place it aside, not too far, or you can hold on to it and move the next frame. For this I'm going to need the hive tool. Just pull up. As you can see, the bees are getting aggressive. So make sure, even with the hive tool, you need to be as gentle as possible. Cause very little disturbance. This way you are able to open up your beehive without getting stung and without killing majority of the bees. If possible, be as quiet as a mouse. Now, as you can see here, we have a new honeycomb being built, and then we have down here we have honeycombs. So during inspection it is important that you clear any other combs that are not built within the frame, so that you are not left with a beehive that cannot be able to harvest easily. Personally, I do not like to blow smoke directly into the hive, so that I may not affect the quality of the honey that I harvest. Now, during harvesting, you need to watch out for this. As you can see at the top here, we have wax cappings. When the bees are finished building their honeycomb, they will cap all of this. That is when you are able to know that your honey is ready for harvest. Otherwise, the honey that you harvest, if 80% of the honeycomb is not capped, it's going to be full of moisture, and within a few weeks in storage it's going to ferment, and that quality is not what we are looking for. As you can see from the back, it's fully capped. However, it's not ready at the front. You need to be able to have at least 80% capped on this side, similarly to this side. As you can see from another frame right here, fully capped, just awaiting harvest. So when you're harvesting from a Langstroth hive, you have two options of harvesting. You can either cut out the comb and place it in a bucket where you're going to use a honey press machine, which is the best way if you're going to cut out the comb, or you can place this frame in a honey extractor machine. By placing it in a honey extractor machine, it allows you to retain the comb as is in the frame, where you can be able to place it back in your hives so that the bees can continue cleaning it and just add on top honey. Otherwise, if you cut out the comb, the bees will now go back to building it from scratch again, like this one here. It's a new comb, as you can see. It's white in color. It has honey, not yet capped, but they need to be able to fill out this frame so that you're able to harvest enough honey. So now we are going to close our hive. Smoke a little bit so that you clear away the bees at the edges. You don't want to kill them. And then place your lid as gently as possible, making sure it covers the hive very well. Now I'm going to do a few rounds, check one or two other hives, and then we can move on to where we are going to teach you, or whether we are all going to learn about processing honey and all the bee byproducts that you can get from a single hive. So now, what I'm checking for is the number of frames that I can be able to see built combs. Make sure not to stand at the entrance, so where you can block the flight path of the bees. Now remember, as I said, you need to have enough fuel. As you can see, mine is dying out. You need to have enough fuel when you're opening each and every hive. My name is Daniel Irungu, and I'm the founder of Platinum Agribusiness Solutions, a beekeeping social enterprise that was founded during the COVID pandemic with the aim of having pure organic honey that can help Kenyans during the fight against COVID, as well as boost their immunity all throughout their lives. We started this business with the sole purpose of being able to produce honey that is traceable from our farm right here in Sagana to the Kenyan market. And now we are able to take through other Kenyans through the same journey so that they can be able to produce honey and keep bees for pollination, and to be able to produce honey that is medicinal and provides more advantage than the regular honey. When I started beekeeping, I did not know anything about it. I did my research, read a few articles, consulted with a few beekeepers here and there. However, it was never enough until the moment I started it on my own. I learned from my own mistakes. I learned how a beehive is supposed to be built. And so we established a way to be able to build all these hives on our own. I was able to learn about the bee space, how much space is needed in a single hive for a bee. I was able to learn the various bee products we can be able to get from one hive, and there are so many. Honey is supposedly the cheapest thing you can be able to get from a hive, and that is why we support beekeeping and value addition of bee byproducts. And so I tried to make my first hive. The results were awful, and the results were just awful. I didn't like it, and so I went back and made the second beehive. and tried. The results slightly improved. And so I decided to go to a local carpenter and buy a beehive and try and trace back to build another one on my own. And the improvement, slightly 70%. However, it didn't meet what I wanted. And so I went back and tried it for the 4th time. And I finally got it. I finally got it right. And this right here is the final product of all those tries and errors to the perfect beehive. After producing the first hive, the 4th hive, where I got it right, I added 10 more and they did well. And so I added 20 others. And in total now I have 30 hives that you can see here, and a few others we've placed in the trees for baiting. Friends came over, I got referrals, and so people wanted to learn and people wanted for me to help them build hives. So from there we are doing commercial beekeeping, where we produce the hives that we have right here, as well as training them on all the aspects they need to learn for the basic beekeeping. What is special about our hives? Our hives, we've been able to research and learn that the local hives that you can get at any carpentry store here might not meet the requirements for your honeybees to produce the most capacity. Now, in a single brood box, you need to be able to have enough bee space from the frames where the bees can be able to pass through, just enough to be able to clear all pests that may infest the hive. Otherwise, your hive might lose the bees as they abscond, looking for a better place to stay at. We also have the queen excluder, which most hives in the local market might not have. It is very essential for your beehive to have a queen excluder. When you're buying a Langstroth hive, make sure the frames are compact enough so that when you're using a honey extractor, one that we are going to show you, so stay tuned. A honey extractor should not break the frames when you're using it to extract the honey. So that is another thing that you need to consider when you're buying your hive, your Langstroth hive specifically. You also need to consider the bee entrance. It should not be too big where other pests or even certain animals can enter the hive and make their accommodations there. We just need enough space to house the bees, and that's all. Now, the super box. There are two kinds of super. We have a deep super and we have a shallow super. Right here we have a shallow super, which is what we harvest on average 8 kilos per harvest. And we harvest 3 times in a year in our location. Every single harvest depends on where you are. You might harvest once, you might harvest twice, or even in some places in Kenya, you can harvest up to 4 times in a single year. So, a deep super can hold up to 10 to 15 kgs for a single harvest. And a shallow super can harvest between, on average, 7 to 10 kilos per harvest. When you're setting up your hive, the things you need to consider. Number one is the security. Not just for your hive, but for the people around you. Your beehive needs to be placed more than 200 meters from the closest road and 200 meters from your neighbor's residence, or rather, the fence nearing your neighbor. Why should you do this? The African bee is known to be very aggressive. It can travel for a couple of miles looking for its attacker. Remember, our main goal as beekeepers is to be able to produce the most honey from a hive while ensuring that we are not affecting the bee's life. And when we have a beehive close to where our neighbors are, or rather where the road is, we are not only endangering other people, but we are endangering the bees themselves. As sooner or later, you will need to discard that beehive or shift its location. So, to ensure that you don't have these troubles in future, make sure that when you're building your apiary, you consider the space that you have around, the forage that you have in your farm, the cleanliness of your setup, and what kind of stands that you want to use to be able to place the beehives in a manner that you can be able to harvest, inspect, and bait without any trouble at all. When you buy a beehive, you need to consider colonization. There are two ways you can colonize your beehive. The first way is by baiting it, where we use natural attractants like the beeswax, the lemongrass oil, or you can use propolis to bait the hive. After baiting, you need to place it in a place where the bees in your area pass through often. Local beekeepers in your area will be able to advise you the best way, or you can consult with professional beekeepers. Commercial beekeepers will also be able to help you out. The other way you can be able to colonize your beehive is by doing a split. Or you can do a split from an existing beehive and be able to produce a queen for a new hive where your honeybees will be able now to grow and fully colonize your hive. Hello guys, so now we are back from the farm. It was one heck of a journey, but we survived it. We are beekeepers after all, so a few things cannot chase us away. So, it seems we even left our equipment on. Now, as I said earlier, here we have a local makeshift venom collector, a bee venom collector. So we use this to collect venom from the bees without necessarily killing them. It generates just a little bit of current, just enough to trigger the bees so that they sting and leave their venom on this particular glass plate right here. So let us see whether we were able to collect. We usually leave it for about an hour or two at a single beehive. Then we come, after it's dried off, we come and scrape off. We scrape off this white substance. Now, this wasn't necessarily enough, but for demonstration purposes, it is going to serve for today. So this white substance is dried bee venom, after which we are going to pack it in smaller jars. Now we have our products. We sell honey. After we've harvested it from the hive, as you've seen, we make sure we take it through a process where we don't add anything else to our honey. We have a 500-gram jar, a 1 kilogram jar, and a smaller package that is for 300 grams. Our honey is processed to ensure that we have only the cleanest, purest, and natural honey, right for you and your family. So a 300-gram package goes for just 300 shillings only, while a 500-gram package goes for 450 Kenya shillings only. And then we have the larger package for retail consumers, a 1 kilogram jar that goes for 850 Kenya shillings only. You can get it from our store here at Sagana, Kenya Industrial Estate Park, or you can order us and we can deliver it to you. For our medicated honey, make sure you pre-order, because we never put it on stock unless there are clients coming for it and it doesn't last. We need to be able to move it as quickly as possible, and you need to be able to have ordered it to consume the benefits of bee venom, medicinal natural honey. For our other products, we get beeswax. We process bee combs into refined beeswax that we can be able to sell to you and other consumers who want beeswax for their candles, such as these ones. We create beeswax candles that have a fine sweet smell to it, and you can also be able to use them when you're creating cosmetic products or just for your home use. So other than the beeswax, we have beekeeping equipments, the smoker, a galvanized steel with a heat shield smoker. It allows you to be able to bellow easily without the stress of burning your glove. We also have the harvesting gear, the bee suit. We have different materials. This one is cotton, full sized, and it comes with a headgear, allowing you to be able to view your beehive easily without the worry of bees stinging your face. I was able to perfect our beehive into a final product that any beekeeper would want, any beekeeper would wish to have. The reason being, if you need to do commercial beekeeping, you need to be able to have a product that can allow you to get the most out of a single beehive. This is a Langstroth frame. We've placed beeswax sheet in it to help the bees to be able to find the line while building their combs. This is a queen excluder. As you can see, it's locally made, lightweight, and it prevents the queen from penetrating from the brood box to the super box, ensuring that what we are going to harvest from our super box is quality honey. This is a shallow super box, 10 frame Langstroth beehive. The quality of this beehive, the wood of this beehive is pine, but we also have Gravelia made beehives. All our Langstroth beehives go for 5,500, and then we have Kenya Toba beehives that goes for 4,900 shillings only. Platinum Agribusiness Solution is a youth-founded social beekeeping enterprise. We promote sustainable beekeeping practices and value addition of bee byproducts. Even though there may be a lot of honey products or other bee products in the market, we ask you, the viewer, promoters, as a youth beekeeping business in Kenya, to give you quality made honey that you can be able to trace back to our farm. We work with other beekeepers to be able to train them, as well as set up their hives for them, their apiaries, be able to establish a network of quality beekeepers who can be able to provide you, the consumer, with honey that you can be able to safely take back to your home. If I made it, you can make it.